like really high in the last 4 years, right?
The last 4 years, we've been held hostage under the Democratic rule. That is horrible, horrible, horrible. We've had more taxes. We paid more for everything.
Wait, you think that taxes?
Part of the deal game.
You think that taxes have been like really high in the last 4 years, right?
And it's not just that. We paid for everything. We, the middle income America, was paying for the Democratic. All this.
I just want to clarify. You didn't like Biden and Harris's tax code.
I did not.
Would you ever vote for it again?
No.
Under any circumstances?
No.
It was Trump's tax code.
No, it was Obama's. It was Obama's.
In 2017, Donald Trump passed the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, in which was his tax code and set to expire this year, meaning under the entire Biden-Harris administration, we were under Donald Trump's tax code. You just told us that you hated that tax code and you never vote for it again under any circumstances.
I would never vote for a Democratic regime ever.
So it had nothing to do with what they were doing and all to do with the fact that they're Democrats. Party over country every single day you're a member of a cult.
Maybe they should start taking money from your paychecks and your refunds to pay back your student loans. Nobody forced y'all to go to college.
Maybe you should have got off your mama's couch, but nobody's questioning your decisions that you made in life. And those of you guys who are wondering why it's so difficult for people to pay their student loans back, how about I break it down for you right now? Imagine being 17 and 18 years old, going into college and getting forced to take out a student loan because you were told that in order to make it in life, you have to better yourself by going to school and getting an education. When you go get that education and now you're landing the job and you get the job and then they tell you need 5 to 10 years of experience to then work this job. And oh, by the way, we're going to pay you minimum wage, damn near the same amount you would make if you did not go to school. So now you're an educator, can barely pay your bills, can barely pay to put food on your table. And now you have to pay back student loans that they told you to go to school for so you can have an education, just for your education to slap you in the face and tell you that your education is not enough and actually you need years of experience, and then we're going to also pay you minimum wage. If you needed to know why people are struggling to pay their student loans, ask yourself this question. Why would anyone give a loan? Why would anyone give an $80,000 loan to a 17, 18-year-old who has no credit history and tells them that they need to pay it back? And oh, sure, let's blame the parents who can barely afford to get their kids in school, but they're doing everything they can. But yet it is not enough. And then you ask yourself, why is it so many people that aren't paying their loans and why they're not paying their bill? No one told them to get an education. No one told you to sit on your ass and stay at home and eat fucking pizza every day. No, we did what we needed to do so that way your kids can have somewhere to go to school. So that way your kids can have someone to teach them. So that way your kids have a nurse that can take care of them. So that way if something breaks down in your house, somebody can come fix it. People can barely afford to pay for their groceries. The decisions people made when they were 17, 18, 19, they thought they were bettering themselves. They thought that they could pay for their loan. And quite frankly, putting those type of responsibility in a child's hand who just graduated high school is wild. Meanwhile, shoving down their throat the importance of education and how if you don't get an education, you cannot get a job to take care of your family. But yet that same education is not paying for you to take care of your family. And you're wondering why people are struggling. Instead of getting on this internet and blaming people for taking out a loan, why not understand?
Dad didn't call me all day from the ICE detention center that he's been at here in Aurora, Colorado. And so finally around 1, I decided to call the ICE facility and they weren't answering. And finally around 3, they answered the phones. And when I asked if my dad was still there, they told me that he was released and then wouldn't give me any other information. And then maybe like a couple hours later, so then I drove to the ICE facility and I went there to ask them questions and they still wouldn't give me any information. And then finally, while I was there, as I was leaving, I get a call from the ICE detention center, and it was not my dad, it was somebody else, someone that he met in there, and I guess they had agreed that if one of them was to get deported, that they would call each other's family members to let them know. And so this guy did. He called and he let me know that my dad was taken that night and he was removed from the facility. So then finally, after hours of looking him up on the ICE locator, and it still showed that he was here in Aurora ICE Processing Center, I finally was able to see that they had taken him to Texas, but by the time that they had changed the status of where he was, it was too late and I couldn't get a hold of the facility. So this morning I woke up and right at 8 o'clock I started calling all the facilities in Texas that were near the border to find out where he was at, until I finally found out which one he was in. And then I called them and they told me that he was removed from the country this morning, but that they can't give me any other information. They can't tell me where they took him, where they left him, where anything. And it's just, it's really hard because it's 10:36 now and I still haven't heard from my dad. And I know that this stuff takes time, but I need to know where my dad is. You know what I mean? I'm so worried about him, and I don't trust this administration at all.
Well, imagine that, folks. Maybe the most pathetic person on this entire application. What's he on, his 10th fucking account? The older millennial has found out about the Unfuck America tour, and now he is making a fuss and flapping his yap trap. Dear Mr. Baby Boomer, what's the matter? Is your bank account running dry? Do you need a little relevance so you can go buy more cheap bourbon bottles? Look, buddy, I get it. If all I was good for was spreading bullshit and taking down a bottle of Jack before breakfast, I would be mad too. But I promise, if you take that boot out of your mouth and stop dick riding dudes like Charlie Kirk, everything would be okay. Now, you see, Joe, I could do what 475,000 other creators on this app have already done and take the time to introduce you to something called facts, but I already know it would do no fucking good. So instead, I'm just gonna tell you to go fuck yourself. I mean, shit fire, folks. Does anybody really still take the older millennials seriously? If they do, they should probably go see a fucking specialist about the thing behind their eyes and between their ears, because they got shit for brains. Anyways, that's gonna be it for me today. I am once again on dance dad duty out of town doing the damn thing. Y'all have you a wonderful motherfucking day. Keep the motherfucking boots out of your motherfucking mouth, and remember that the golden rule will always remain yeehaw fuck the law. I love y'all. I'll see you down the line.
I hate to break it to everyone, but you guys do know that this whole economic is on purpose, right? Because it would help our economy in the end. You know this, right? Because I'm seeing so much misinformation on it. They have to do this in order to eventually lower the prices of things. That's kind of just how it works. And you have to do this because there's literally no dinero left for anyone, because the last 4 years went bye-bye.
Is that right, Queensy? Okay, let me see if I heard this correctly. So Trump is doing a terrible job at running the economy, or as you would put it, right? Just a miserable job. And you admit that, which is hilarious. But you say it's not what you think, okay? It's all part of Trump's secret plan for all of us to be better off later. And Queensy, you say that we have to do it this way. We have to run the economy into a ditch because there's no more dinero. Okay, it has all gone bye-bye. Queensy, are you sure that you watched more than one YouTube video about this topic? Because it doesn't really seem like you have. So let me help you out here, okay, Queensy? The theory that you guys have to cope with why Trump is so bad at this is that if Trump can make the economy suck really bad, then the Federal Reserve will lower interest rates, and then we can refinance our debt at a lower rate and save a bunch of money. That's the general idea, Queensy, but as usual, it relies entirely on the fact that Trump supporters have no fucking clue how anything works. Like this $36 trillion that we have in debt, it's not like a mortgage that we could just refinance and get a lower rate. This $36 trillion is made up of thousands of treasury bonds and treasury bills that are essentially loans that we've taken out over the years. Some are short-term, some are long-term, but all of them have their own interest rates that we cannot refinance. So if Trump crashed the economy to get better interest rates on the debt, he would only be able to get those rates on future debt. He would not be able to refinance the $36 trillion. So you guys are telling us you want to crash the economy, wipe out every grandmother's retirement plan, skyrocketing unemployment, houses foreclosing. Also, you can save a little bit of money on the interest rate on future debt until the economy gets better and the rates go back up. It's just a bad plan, Queensy. This is a terrible idea. And that is why 9 out of 10 dentists agree that every economist that ever existed would not agree that crashing the economy on purpose is a good plan, Queensy. They'd probably tell you it's sort of like slashing your tires to save money on gas, or punching yourself in the face to get some sleep. Just not effective strategies, okay? So Queensy, you guys should just try doing a good job at running the economy. Because sitting around doing a bad job while telling us you're secretly doing a good job is corny. So fuck the secret plan. Just do a good job instead. Okay, Queensy? Just do a good job. All right, get to work.
Honestly, I really just need TikTok's help in sharing this video. Whoever the fuck reported me to immigration services, just know that I'm going to be handling that situation accordingly. Honestly, this is one of the most terrifying moments of my life because I'm being forced this morning to move myself and my family to another location. The fact that I had to wake up this morning and be informed by my neighbor that there are ICE agents on another property that's registered in my name, not even wearing proper fucking uniforms or even having service vehicles to begin with. Do you know how terrifying that shit is? For you to claim that I'm not a U.S. citizen because you heard last week that I was born in Spain is so... Ooh, that shit makes me so motherfucking mad, dude. I stated that I was born in Spain, but I am a military child, okay? I've been a U.S. citizen since I was 4 years old. I have every bit of evidence to prove that I am a legal U.S. citizen. And according to my neighbor, they stayed at my property for 45 minutes, literally walking all over my motherfucking property. So I really hope that they have a motherfucking warrant. Regardless, if push comes to shove, I will be battling this legally. I will be resisting, and I will find out exactly who was responsible for that anonymous tip. You have no idea what you just started, and they don't either. So if anybody wonders where I'm at for the next couple of days, I will be dealing with this fucking bullshit.